Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, we're super excited as experts in the field of grief and loss to again be tuning in to Gerry Turner's journey on the Golden Bachelor. You know, as we reminded you, we've been following him because he is 72 and been dating, and he is a widower. And he, I think, really brings in hope, Heidi, the hope that there is a new love, particularly with the loss of a partner.
I agree with you, Mom. I mean, Gerry is inspiring all these women to get out there and date again. And I don't think they believed that love was possible until they met him.
And he didn't even believe it was possible again. He said that,
You're right.
I think it's been about 7 years since his wife passed away. I think he's dated a little bit, but he's really seeing that he can have that true love again, which, really brings you up to being open to hope. Now we've got 3 women left on the show, right?
We do. And as you know, they had the hometown visits this week. So Gerry went and visited all their families in all different places. It was really powerful. There was a lot of twists and turns.
I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to talk a little bit about our book that has just been announced that Dr. Powers, my fiance, and I have written, called Open to Love, The Secrets of Senior Dating. And one of the things that the book brings out is the fact that you need to prepare that love interest for being introduced to the family. And we're going to give you 3 tips today that we'll see and talk about a little bit about on the Golden Bachelor, because some of the concepts that we talk about are there. But let me get my partner, Dr. Powers, my fiance. Welcome, Dr. Powers, to the show. Well, Frank and I were talking about some of the concepts that we're interested in, and we want to kind of give you 3 things to start out with to prepare yourself and your partner, your love interest, to come and meet the family. And the first one is to let your partner know something about each family member they'll be meeting, right?
Yes, and I think it's also very important that you prepare your family. If it's your family that your new partner is going to be meeting, it's really important to let your family know how you feel and where you're at in this relationship, and give them some briefing about what the status of the relationship is. And when you don't do that, I think it's kind of difficult on the family members. So you want to make it easy for the person.
And we found out the hard way.
Yes.
Do tell.
I wasn't quite as good as ABC.
We learned a lot.
as ABC was.
I think they did a good job of preparing the families for his visit. And also he was well prepared because he knew what he was walking into. And that is crucial if you want this to go well, because if you don't, your chances are that this may not go as well as you'd like.
Yeah, he went to Teresa's house first, pleasant, beautiful house.
Very, very pleasant. And her family, especially the grandkids, were absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
They were well coached.
Yeah, I have to say, it was a great visit. She has a daughter, and her daughter broke down at one point, which really tugged at my heart.
That's
because
right.
Her daughter said, basically, even though I like Gerry a lot and I think he's phenomenal for my mother, it doesn't change the love I have for my dad.
She was worried about her mom being hurt. And I think
Yes.
that's a very important thing. You have to realize your kids do not want you hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, she's a widower.
Yes.
And Gerry's a widower.
They have that in common. And
Yeah.
I think that was an important connection from the very beginning, that they were both widowers.
And it didn't show it on all the other dates. We'll talk about those. But I think there's a safety factor for families knowing that you're from your spouse died sometimes they get nervous about who this person is. They've been dating, they've been divorced and that kind of thing. So it can be a little bit harder to break in.
Very difficult, especially if there's been multiple divorces. People begin to wonder, how stable is this person?
And how is it to come in when you've been divorced, Frank?
It is difficult. It is difficult because you feel like a failure, and here you are wanting the family to accept you, and they think, wow, I'm a two-time loser. I mean, my gosh,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
not a good way. It's not a good way. So you do need to prepare your family, and you need to prepare the person for your family.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the next step. Don't make the visit too long.
Yes, yes. Too long
That
creates
first visit.
really a lot of discomfort for the first visit. I mean, after that, the ice is broken and then it's a little easier. But it is much better for both the family and for your new connected partner that it's not too long, because this is very tense. It's a real important meeting. And in case of Gerry, can be quite the determining factor in what goes on.
Well, however, ABC was the Golden Bachelor able to do these little clips.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, they cut out anything they don't want to show. In real life, you don't cut those things.
So they have
Yeah.
those sweet little clips.
So
like,
it didn't seem too long. It seemed like he just
Yeah.
went and got a lay of the land with and also they, Faith was worried, will he fit into this rural environment that I live in?
oh
Will
yeah,
this
and the
be the right
horses.
fit?
They
Yes.
slipped in a nice little segment where he didn't even have to be with the family. He was
Yeah.
with the horses.
Yeah. Because that's a big part of her life. I mean, Faith said that she goes horseback to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Do you think she's trying to corral him?
So let's talk about the next one. The third thing is support your partner. You gotta, if you want to take a love interest in the family, you really have to show the family that this is serious, that you support your partner, that you're not asking whether he's the right guy. You're saying he is the right guy. Will you let him in the family?
I think that was particularly important for Leslie because
Yes.
she lost her father, and when she was 16, and her brother Stuart took over as the father of the family. And she told Gerry right out, my brother is very overprotective of me. He's like my father.
Right. And that fits into something which is who's in the power, who's got the family power. And, he did something which is fascinating. He went up and asked the brother for permission to marry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a very nice move on his part.
Very
'Cause
strategic.
he understood how important the brother's acceptance of the relationship was. And I think that men especially have to really understand that they're asking permission to become a member of this family. It's not a given. And so I think that's one of the nice things that Gerry did that was very, very interesting. And I think a lesson for those men who want to join a woman in her family,
Yeah.
like I did.
Yes. We didn't always do the best.
We didn't. We made some mistakes, and we learned from those. Isn't that right?
No comment. I'll take the fifth here. I like how Leslie said, Stuart's a mensch, and I feel like you are too, Gerry, and that was the highest compliment for a guy.
And it's also something I think men need to heed and need to be aware of, that this isn't a given. You're asking permission and you want to be accepted by the family. So you need to ask them if they will accept you and show that you're sincere and genuine in your care and concern for the person that you're dating.
I was kind of fascinated, though, that the brother-in-law with Teresa wasn't asked.
I know.
At all.
I know.
Wasn't part of it.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting because the reality is biological family members are really the power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true in most cases.
Yeah. So, they have much more influence than the family that comes in from the outside.
And the brother said right away, I'm protective.
Right.
And so that's a very strong statement, and it's nice to see that the brother cares that much about his sister. So, and he did it in
Yeah.
a nice way. I mean, I thought the family meetings were very well done. And of course, if there wasn't anything that was done well, they probably cut it out.
And I think everybody loved Gerry. I think everyone's concern was the same thing that me and my sisters were concerned about when you two started dating. We didn't want to see our mother get hurt. And I
Exactly.
think that is the bottom line here as well. All the kids and the siblings are worried that they don't want to see the mother get hurt, their mother.
And the hard part on the show is somebody is.
Yes.
And
Oh,
they're getting
yes.
close down. I mean, it's really down to 3 people. And he
Yes.
basically has feelings for all of them.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
scary
something that
part.
doesn't
Yes.
happen normally in the dating process, that the people that you're meeting, of the woman or the man, know that you're also dating 2 other people. I mean, that's a tough one.
It really is.
And they didn't make a big deal about that, but I think in real life there would be
Well,
some question if someone was dating other
well,
people,
Dr. Frank,
coming to meet them.
Stewart said, and I quote, I think it's strange talking to a guy that's dating 2 other women.
Exactly. And that's real. That's
Right?
very real. Yes.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the cliffhanger that they left at the end of the show is
Yes.
unbelievable. He had 3 roses.
And he gave one to Leslie, and then he could not give the second rose out. That would have mean that one of the 3 would have to leave the program. So they're waiting until the next episode to show who gets the second rose
The guy,
and who is eliminated.
He had to leave the set. The cameraman goes running past the contestant.
But it's not fair to the women.
And
I think I really like Gerry, but I think it's a little cowardly not to do this.
Poor guy was doubled over in the foyer, getting ready to throw up.
I know. I guess I should have some empathy for him too, but I think it's tough on.
But do you remember last week when he couldn't give out the rose at the boat, and he had to wait until the next?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He is a procrastinator.
I think next week's show, I'm already thinking it's going to be on how to deal with rejection.
Oh yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
and disappointment. And
well, I mean, this is an unusual situation where you actually know your competitors, and you know that you are not the chosen one, and I think that adds a dynamic that isn't normally something that happens in a dating process. I know very few women who would tolerate a guy dating 2 other people while he's dating them.
oh, you'd be furious as a woman if you heard about it.
Oh my God.
Whoa, the
fury. Only in this television program would they accept that.
I noticed the 2 women when Leslie got the rose. The other women, when she went by, when they were standing there by
like she was going to die on the spot.
They were close together. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting.
And Gerry has basically said he loves every single one of those.
And they all love him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the families love him.
Yes.
Well, that's what they're showing. We'll see if that love lasts.
Oh, they won't love him next week. I don't know.
Well, when he turns someone down in their family,
they should have.
Rejection is not a sweet thing.
All right. Well, before we end the show, we want to just go over our 3 points with you again. If you are introducing your love interest to your family, first of all, let your partner know something about the family members.
It's very important that you prepare that person
who's going to be there. And you don't have to do the whole crew like they did here. I mean, maybe you could make a little visits.
And it might not be, it might be a little better not to have all at the same time.
Yeah, and the grandkids and everybody. It's a little scary.
One at a time.
And remember, don't make the first visit too long.
No.
Probably not best to bring them into Thanksgiving dinner without having introduced them to even one person.
Yes.
If you're serious about them, I mean, it's okay.
They would feel like a basted turkey. Yes.
If you're just bringing them in as a friend, fine. But if you're saying, will you accept this person?
Make it casual, make it light.
Yeah.
And make it comfortable for everybody.
Yeah, and not too long. And the other thing is support your partner by staying close. and expressing your feelings and letting them know
And
that
he
you're
did
serious.
do that really
Yeah,
well.
he did it really.
Yeah,
All of them
yeah.
did. And
He
yeah,
was very,
they all
very
said
caring and very thoughtful, as he has been, I think, throughout the whole program.
he's done such a good job.
done a
Everybody's
nice
in
job.
love with him.
Nice.
Yeah, well, stay tuned, everybody, for next week's. It's going to be a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
we're
it will be.
gonna all talk about,
Yeah.
was it Teresa or Faith that got that final rose? And of course, Leslie is in the running. She's already got her rose.
Leslie's
you to
home relaxing.
That's right. Thank you to the dating doctors for tuning in and giving us your, professional and personal experience with dating after loss.
And thank you especially for accepting me as part of the family.
Oh, big hug.
Big hugs. Thanks everybody for watching this and listening to this show today. And please visit us at datingdoctors.org and get our new book, Open to Love, The Secrets of Senior Dating. I want you to know that all the proceeds of that are going to the Open to Hope Foundation. And Heidi and I and Frank wanted to say to you, if you've lost hope, please lean on ours until you find your own, and God bless.
Thank you, dating doctors.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.